All right, Buck fans, welcome to week 13 edition of the No Quarter Given podcast. Unfortunately, another losing edition, a 6 out of 7 losing edition of the No Quarter podcast, part of the buckpower.com podcast network as the Bucks fall 27-20 up in Indianapolis to fall to 4-7 on the year. And thank God we are still only one game out of first place. I'm your host, Jason Powers, along with Peter Blake. Peter, welcome.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm well. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I
Yeah,
heard there's some Cracker Barrel in your future, in your past.
yeah, in my past, in my rearview mirror, because I'm never going there again, Jason Powers. Never going there again. You got to get with the family on Thanksgiving, or you got to go to somebody's house that can actually cook. I had one plate.
I know you had some last minute change of plans, so that
Yeah,
prompted the Cracker Barrel visit. So not real impressed with the Thanksgiving Cracker Barrel style, huh?
I don't know what was worse, the spread there or the spread at a USF football game. You know what I'm talking about, too. Turkey and cheese sandwich. It was gone by 12:20. We got it at noon. It was gone by 12:20, and then we didn't have another plate for the whole day. So the football wasn't great. I didn't want to fall asleep. I actually wanted to go out and make some money, so I actually delivered food on Thanksgiving. I mean, that's how disappointed I was with Cracker Barrel. So
Look at you, Peter Blake, helping the community out.
yeah,
Thanks,
absolutely.
holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing a
That a
little.
boy, a little community service. Good job, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, so the Bucks fall to 4-7, 27-20 loss. Um, Peter Blake, give me a couple initial thoughts about the game in general, then we'll get into some specifics.
Well, they were in a Thanksgiving mood because Baker Mayfield had a terrible interception early in this game. He also had a fumble to end it, and they gave plenty of opportunities to the Colts to score points. And the Bucks didn't respond, doing the same things over and over again. No urgency, lack of urgency. You know, Todd Bowles, he's got something on his side. He's got timeouts. Obviously, he's got all those still. And I don't know. I thought it was an easy win. I thought they could beat the Colts, but Gardner Minshew doing his best Patrick Mahomes impression on Devin White, juking him out of his jock, if you will.
Yeah, it was we're going to get into the specifics here in just a minute, but the Bucks fall behind and then they make a nice comeback, have a couple opportunities to tie the game late. We'll talk about some clock management issues involving the offense. A couple things here we'll talk about, but a tough loss because again, the Bucks had a golden opportunity to tie the game, had the ball in the last about the 2-minute warning, about the 50, had plenty of had time, was moving the ball pretty well in the second half. So, but just unable to continuously week after week, the inopportune penalty, the inopportune blown assignment, blown coverage, whatever it is, whether it's offensively or defensively, and the Bucks just fall short again, 27-20. Again, luckily, fortunately for the Bucks in the division, Atlanta beats New Orleans to drop both those teams to 5-6. So the Bucks still remain one game out of the division lead, and they still only remain one game out of the last wild card spot held by the Minnesota Vikings, who had a brutal loss on Monday Night Football to the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs comes back down to earth, 4 interceptions against the Bears. I mean, who could figure that team out? But you're exactly right. You're still in the division race. You're one game out. Atlanta, New Orleans, they're a mess. I mean, both teams. So you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity here to, make some hay against the Carolina Panthers, and you should. A lot of Bucks fans on social media, when they fired Frank Reich after the great start of 1-10, they said Panthers by 60. I mean, that's kind of the confidence right now in Todd Bowles' crew, and hopefully the Bucks cannot have deja vu from last year, where the Panthers also fired their coach and then proceeded to basically blow the doors off of that Buccaneer team.
Some stats from the game. Mike Evans, 6 catches, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rachaad White, 15 carries, 100 yards. I think that was highlighted, but I think he had a 38-yard run late in the early fourth quarter, which was a nice sight to see there. Bucks give up 6 sacks, and we'll talk about some of those sacks, not all on the offensive line. To me, in my view, 2 or 3 of those easily were on Baker Mayfield for not throwing the ball away. And then Baker Mayfield, fumbled the ball twice, only lost one of the 2 fumbles through a terrible interception, which we're going to talk about early in the game. 20 of 30 for 199 and 2 touchdowns. So not terrible stats, but nothing worthy of winning the game kind of stats. And again, at the biggest moment, Baker did not get it done and was strip sacked on the at the 2-minute warning there when the defensive end beat Tristan Wirfs around the end, causing the strip sack fumble. So, all right, let's start out the game early here. Bucks, slow start for both teams. First 2/3 of the first quarter, the Bucks get down, tied 0-0. They get down to 1st and goal to 1. The Bucks run a quarterback sneak, which I didn't understand that on 1st down. I didn't get that call. Baker Mayfield gets his ankle landed on awkwardly. He leaves the game for a play. Kyle Trask has to come in. There's a false start, which, I didn't even notice it, to be honest with you. I turned away. A lot of people think wasn't a false start. You tell me, was it a false start on the when Kyle Trask came in the game?
Yeah, it looked like a false start to me, but with the continuation of the play, and I get it, he's got a free play or something. He throws it up and it's intercepted. So
right.
In that case, very fortunate for the Bucks to have a penalty because it takes away the interception there, which would have been really bad and not a good.
Let's just go to that first. First of all, what are you doing running a quarterback sneak on 1st and goal with a guy who's not the biggest guy in the world? You want to establish a little running game. Rachaad White's been pretty good around the goal line. Those 1-yard runs. Give it to Rachaad White. What are we doing here?
I mean, I don't understand it. I honestly don't understand why they haven't, maybe gone to a Vita Vea, right? I mean,
yeah.
So much difficulty with scoring on the 1-yard line. Go to your biggest guy. Who's going to stop that guy at the end of the day? I get it. You could have some injury there, but why not? Change it up a little bit. If you have problems with scoring in the red zone, do something a little different that a defense is not expecting. A quarterback sneak with Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry, that's not Tom Brady there. That's Baker Mayfield, smallish guy.
And then you come in on Kyle Trask's first play. Why aren't you handing the ball off on 2nd down and goal? I mean, I don't get that either. You're gonna play action pass on a guy that has been cold for basically 45 minutes. I don't get. I get it. You want to maybe. I didn't understand that one bit. So you back up to the 6. You settle for a field goal, 3-0. Then the wheels fall off for about a quarter. Colts go down the field and score 17 unanswered points. It's 17-3. Just the Bucks' inability to stay on the field. Again, back to the offensive consistency, not able to get first downs. The pass protection was not great, but again, Baker Mayfield holding the ball on a couple of these sacks just way too long. You got to throw the ball away.
And I know you're going to talk about it because I'm going to steal your thunder, but he comes in after the injury and throws just an ill-advised throw. We've seen it all year long. We've seen it throughout his career. There's no reason why he needs to make that throw. I don't know what he was trying to see there. I guess he was trying to force it to Mike Evans, but there's
four guys. There's 4 guys.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that. You got to throw it to somebody. If there's 4 guys in that area, there's got to be somebody freaking open besides Mike Evans. I get it. You want to get to your playmakers. But by the way, you got Chris Godwin on the other side. You got Cade Otton. You got Rachaad White possibly in the flat.
Trey Palmer. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, well, Trey Palmer.
He had a critical drop too, and that was a big play. That would have been probably about a 20, 25-yard gainer there on a 3rd down, which derailed one of the drives. So again, just rookie. Again, and we've talked about this, Buck fans, all year. The Bucks are having to play a lot of young guys on both offensively and defense. And these are some of the growing pains you have to go through, whether it's drop balls, blown coverages, penalties. These are things you deal with when you're dealing with young, inexperienced players in the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean, that's the downside of it. I mean, just imagine if you had a Gage out there, Russell Gage, who's a veteran 3-wide receiver who wasn't hurt. I mean, I get it. Trey Palmer's got lots of potential, and he's nearly there. He's so close to being there. But you got to wonder the reason why he dropped in the draft in the first place is because consistency with catching passes, that came back once again to haunt him in this game as it came back to haunt him in the previous games. Critical drops at critical times. It just stalls out drives. Is it all to blame? No, but it's definitely part of it.
All right, so we get to 17-3. I think the score ended up being, was it 17-3 at the half, I think? I think it was 17-3 at the half. So the Bucks come out second half. They play a little field position. They pin them deep with a punt. And then Carlton Davis, who I give him credit, he played better. He played better this week. Again, too many, the Bucks gave up too much to Michael Pittman, in my view, but Remember, no Jamel Dean this last week, so Carlton Davis had a more of a central role as far as more man-to-man stuff. Nice interception on about the 15, 18-yard line on an errant throw by Minshew. The Bucs are able to convert that score with a 1-yard touchdown pass to Mike Evans. Again, we still, back to I know Mike Evans catches the ball to the 1-yard line. You were debating whether the Bucs maybe should have challenged that catch because it was close, whether he got in or his knee was down. They don't challenge. The Bucs turn around and score a play or two later. Just your thought on, did you think it was a touchdown pre-challenge, or what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why you're not challenging it. I get it. You want to keep your timeouts for some reason for later on in the game. But if that's a play that changes the outcome of it, why not take a look at it? What do you have to lose? They're going to say, no, it looked like it was a touchdown to me. I don't know what a touchdown is anymore. I look at that play, but he didn't review it, and you go with what you got, and you get a 1-yard touchdown eventually to Mike Evans. But maybe you save yourself some plays there and some opportunities with possibly challenging it and taking a look at it and seeing if it is actually a touchdown.
But the Bucs do convert, so give them credit. They punch it in there on the nice throw to Evans. And let's give credit to, how about Payne Durham? How about the great catch he made on that sideline? Again, a pretty dicey throw by Mayfield. Not a great throw at all, but Payne Durham makes his first kind of big contribution of the season there. The fifth-round draft pick out of Purdue, the tight end, makes a really nice catch on the sideline. Kind of mossing a guy, the DB, really showing off his height and his long arms.
Doing Rob Gronkowski proud there with number 87 with going up there and getting the ball, and I thought he scored too. And
close, close.
Once again, no challenge, no taking a look at it, but great catch by him, and he's starting to get more catches and taking advantage of that opportunity. It's nice to see 87, back in the fold there, even though it's not Gronk.
So 17-10, the Bucs then give up another field goal drive, a long drive, 20-10. Then the Bucs on a nice little rollout pass, a little play action, kind of a bootleg to the left. Mayfield has a nice throw to Mike Evans for like a 23-yard touchdown. So a nice play design there. It makes it 20-17. But yet again, the Buccaneer defense cannot hold. We get late in the game here. Critical 4th down and 1. And then we see the 30-yard. Again, give the Colts credit. I was a little surprised they went, the Bucs had stopped them earlier in the game on a 4th down play. The Colts go for it again. They throw a nice little play action. Mo Alley Cox right down the seam for uncovered, basically 30-yard gain. Hard to know who exactly's guy that was. It was a short yardage defense. Probably one of the DB's responsibilities, either Carlton Davis, maybe Winfield. Neither of them pick them up. Mo Alley Cox, everybody sells out for the run, and Mo Alley Cox runs right down the seam for 30 yards. And the Colts kick another field goal, which then make it 27-17. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's disappointing because at that point you kind of need a stop from your defense, and you don't get it. And on top of it, it's another blown coverage, and most likely it looked like it was Carlton Davis on the play. So we said he was having a good day. He was, but on that play, he was nowhere to be found, whether it was him, Winfield, a linebacker. Most likely it was Carlton Davis. And yeah, it's a critical play, and again, you go back to it. You see these coverage breakdowns, and Todd Bowles talks about it all throughout his press conferences, how it's going to get cleaned up, it's going to get fixed, and it's not getting fixed yet. So we'll see if they can get it fixed versus the Panthers. Against the Colts, well, not so much.
So 27-17, the Bucs then drive right down the field, getting 1st and goal at like the 4 or 5 yard line. This is where Baker Mayfield really hurt him here. You 1st and goal. You take 2. I think he took 2 sacks on that 3-play sequence. Just terrible. You have to throw the ball away on 1st and goal. You cannot take a sack 1st and goal like the 5 or 6, as we got Peter Blake's dog in the screen now. Hello, Mr. Cujo.
Mr. Alexander, yes, he decided.
Is he a black lab? Show him up to the camera here for the fans.
He's let's see here. Hold on. Come on. Get him.
There he is. That a boy.
He is a Louisiana hunting dog. So
okay, nice.
And snakes and squirrels. So
Mr. Alexander getting a little TV time here on the No Quarter Given podcast. We like it.
Yeah, that's right. He's looking at me right now like, you're supposed to be taking me out. I already took you out. So I'll do that afterwards.
All right, your thoughts on Baker Mayfield? Just a couple bad sacks that he took. Not all the offensive line's problem on the 6 sacks on the day. Just your thoughts on his. To me, his pocket awareness has not been great. His mobility is pretty decent. I'll give him credit for that. But when he's in the pocket, when it's time for the play to be over, throw it away. He doesn't do a good job of that, in my view.
Maybe that's the fault. Maybe that's the reason why he's been on various teams, because you're trying to do too much, right? And you're trying not to turn over the ball. But in this case, you have the grand opportunity of turning over the ball. And then furthermore, if you look back at the play, it certainly looks like Chris Godwin is open on the goal line there. He misses it. So it's so frustrating because he does so many good things, and you can see that he made a good throw on 4th down to get them in position. But then you take a sack, you have no pocket awareness. I don't understand it. It's inconsistency. It's up and down. I like the guy. Maybe that's his ceiling. I don't know. And it would be nice to get more help from the line and get more help from the running back. But at the end of the day, you're exactly right. You have to have better pocket awareness. You have to throw the ball away. You can't have a turnover. You can't take a sack. You can't put yourself out of position.
You can take a sack on 3rd down, but you can't take a sack on 1st and goal from the 5. You take a sack on 3rd down, you're going to kick the field goal anyway. I can live with that. But the 1st down sack at the 4-yard line or 5-yard line, that's the one you can't take.
The problem is we've seen this also. We saw the inability of them being able to score red zone points besides field goals, and that's just not going to win games, not against anybody. So it's disappointing to say the least. We've seen it against San Francisco last week, and we saw it this week. So it's just...
So the Bucs kick a field goal, 27-20. You still are in the game at about 4 minutes to go. You got your timeouts, and give the Buccaneer defense credit. They get the Colts out of there on 3 and out. The one thing I didn't like is it was 3rd and about 20. They gave up about 8 or 9, 10-yard gain, which is no big deal. But you let 40 seconds run off the clock after 3rd down. To me, that would have been a perfect time. You call timeout after 3rd down. You have 3:20 left in the game plus the 2-minute warning, which is plenty of time. I didn't like that Todd let the clock run to 2:40 or whatever it was and let them burn 40 seconds on the punt. That's the part of the game where you can really question, hey, come on, Todd. That's a spot where if you save 40 seconds, that's at least 2 plays on offense, maybe 3 or 4, depending on the clock situation.
Exactly, and that's my biggest problem with Todd Bowles, and my biggest question coming into this year. Clock management, situational football, and lack of not only accountability but also urgency, and all these things are starting to build up, and they're leading to losses. And you're exactly right. That 40 seconds is a big deal. Keeping your timeouts before halftime is a big deal. Not having confidence in your offense to at least score some points is a big deal. And it's going to continue to be a big deal if this team continues to lose. And again, hopefully they can clean some of this stuff up. But we're sitting here talking about this. It's almost December, and we're still talking about the same type of, stuff, penalties and situational football and clock management. It's either going to get corrected or somebody eventually is going to lose their job, unfortunately.
So the Bucs get the ball back in a great field position, not a great punt. So they get the ball at about the 35-yard line with like 2:25, 2:30 left in the game. They run a play. They try to hurry up and get a second play run right before the 2-minute warning, literally 2:01 on the clock. And inexplicably, whether it's Mayfield's fault, whether it's Rachaad White's fault, Rachaad White does not fully get set. They snap the ball. They throw a nice 8 or 10-yard completion to Godwin, but it comes back because you have an illegal shift. I know you want to get into the playoff before the 2-minute warning, but you have to be insured that everybody's set and that you get the playoff penalty free.
Agree. I completely agree on that. And once again, it's a penalty at a critical time that kills you.
So takes you back. You get to the 2-minute. Instead of it being 1st and 10 at about the 42-yard line at the 155 mark, it's 2nd and 9 again at the 155 mark. Next play, Tristan Wirfs gets beat cleanly around the edge, strip sacked. And again, you can't kill Tristan Wirfs. He's been an unbelievable player. He didn't play. He got beat. That's plain and simple. He got beat around the end. Strip sack on Mayfield. Colts recover the ball. Bucks, basically the Colts kneel out the game. I know you were a little critical that the Bucks didn't use their timeouts. There was zero chance they could get the ball back, so I'm not going to kill Bowles for not using the timeouts at the end of the game. Yet you had zero chance to win the game.
I get it. It's just an optic of it. It's kind of like they had the timeouts, they didn't use them, so maybe who knows? Maybe something happens. But I understand what you're saying for that. So, yeah.
All right. Bucks fall to 4-7, 27-20 loss. Closing thoughts here. Again, we talked about looking at the schedule. One of the two games the Bucks got to win out. We talked about it as far as the division. You got 4 division games left: 2 with Carolina, 1 Atlanta, 1 New Orleans. In my view, you got to win 3 out of those 4 games, and then you have to split the other 2, which you have the Colts, you have Green Bay, you have Jacksonville, and you have what's the last one? Is it Tennessee? Yeah, Tennessee. So they split the Tennessee and Indy games. You got Jacksonville and Green Bay coming up, non-division games. To me, you got to win one of those 2, and you got to win 3 out of 4 in the division to have any shot at the division title.
That's what it comes down to. And the Bucks have nobody to blame but themselves, because you can look back at the season. They had an opportunity to beat the Falcons. They couldn't do it. They had an opportunity to beat the Houston Texans. They couldn't do it. I mean, these are the games that you're going to look back at and say, well, they could have had more wins, but now they put themselves in the situation. But moving forward, you got the Panthers. Like you said, you got the Falcons. You got the Saints in front of you. And then you got the Panthers again to end it off. So if you can win all those games in your division, more than likely you'll win the NFC South. If not, then we're going to be talking about some other things that we don't necessarily want to talk about in this podcast, namely firings, big-time changes,
right?
Draft, freaking free agent. I mean, I don't like talking about that. I want to talk about a playoff, even though you get your doors blown off in the first round, but you never know.
Right.
Maybe they get on a hot streak. Maybe they catch somebody off guard. Maybe somebody plays down to them.
That's right.
You just got to get in. If you can get in and win a division, and I get it, it's probably the worst division in football.
Doesn't matter. If you win the division, you get a home game. It's plain and simple.
Yeah.
All right. So the Bucks fall again to 4-7. Before we get to Paul Stewart's montage of the Carolina Panthers, Peter, I forgot to tell you last week, and I meant to tell you. Paul, before he left for England, back to England, he left me a little gift for you. So next time I see you, I'm going to get it for you. It's a nice Tampa Bay Buccaneer. It's a Buck Power mug. Nice mug for you.
Really?
Yeah. So you got a little gift for you. Yeah. So
all right.
Got your gift. So shout out to Paul Stewart. Again, buckpower.com is your place for all things Buck audio, video. Every single day he's got something on the website, new audio, new video, this day in Buccaneer history. Again, we're part of the buckpower.com podcast network. Go to the Buck Power TV on YouTube. You can see the montage and all that good stuff. So remember, Buck Power is your place to go. And again, Paul Stewart left a nice little mug for you, Peter Blake. And so next time we get together, I will hand deliver that to you, sir.
All right, man. Sounds good. Sooner than later. All right. Let's have some wings too. It's on you.
Yeah, that's right. You're the one with all this food delivery. Steal us a bag of wings one night. Get us a little bag full of wings on a delivery and just forget about it.
Oh, absolutely. You go on a Uber Eats or a DoorDash, and next thing you know, oh my gosh, I couldn't get to your address because I had a flat tire. Guess what? You have the food. I don't know.
There you go.
I've never done that before. I've gotten orders canceled. I got one order canceled before, and I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna take the food.
I'm hungry. And any good hot chick deliveries this last couple weeks?
Oh yeah,
some talent. You got some talent in the Tampa Bay area?
Yeah, here and not really. To tell you the truth, I've been working so much. Whether it's covering USF or covering I'm so much working now. I want to sleep, man. And now it's getting cold outside, so I want to sleep even more.
Well, the good thing is you're going to get to sleep a little extra this week. Remember, Buck fans, the game has been flexed to 4:00. It's not a 1:00 game. So, Peter Blake, you can sleep in a little bit this week. Roll in about 3:48 to Raymond James Stadium, fight the traffic, get your media pass.
I'll probably get out there about noon or 1:00.
Oh, God, not that early, please. You don't need to be that early.
Get out there even earlier because they do serve breakfast.
You're going to get you want to hit the double buffet there, baby.
Double buffet because you get the breakfast and then you get the salad and then the lunch and then you get the dinner. And if it's a blowout, which hopefully it's not, that's when you can really stock up. And then you get desserts at halftime. You know what I'm talking? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know, but I've not had the pleasure to be there for the Bucks game. So,
out there, we need to go out there.
Give me a pass. Give me a pass, brother.
I wish I could get you a pass. We need to ask Uncle TJ Reeves to get us out there.
Buck administrators, I know you're listening. Brian Ford and company. Powers on Sports need a media pass to the Bucks game. Come on, come on.
Jason Light, of course, yeah, absolutely.
All
We
right.
love
Yeah,
Price.
I got you, man. I got you. All right, we're gonna go to the Paul Stewart montage, Carolina Panthers. When he's done, we will be back and give you a little preview of the 1-10 turmoil-ridden Carolina Panthers as they come to Raymond James Stadium on Sunday. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, Bucks fans. All right, Buck fans, we are back. No Quarter Given podcast. I'm Jason along with Peter. I'm sure you enjoyed the montage with Paul Stewart. Paul always does a great job putting these together with the dramatic Carolina finishes over the years. We've had some wild finishes, some rough and tough games. Steve Smith and company. We've had the Jake Delomes of the world, all kind of dramatic.
Peppers, owning
Yep.
Walker. Who could forget that? Oh my gosh, let's forget that.
All right, let's talk this Carolina Panthers team. Obviously, if you haven't heard, the Panthers run out Frank Reich on Monday morning. They replace him. They replace the offensive quarterbacks coach, Deuce Staley, the running backs coach. David Tepper is turning into the new George Steinbrenner of the NFL, whacking people left and right. He owes more people. He's paying more people not to work than he is paying to work up there in Carolina. Chris Tabor, the special teams coach, gets named the interim coach for the rest of the year. Your thoughts on Tepper pulling the quick trigger on Frank Reich?
What are they doing? I mean, this is not a rebuild. I mean, this is a mess. And he's becoming the Daniel Snyder of the NFL, firing, hiring. And this is not what good organizations do, by the way. When you fire a coach almost every year and you're changing systems and doing this and doing that and have no continuity at all, this is why you're where you're at. So I don't know what they're doing. I get it. It wasn't working, but you at least got to give it a year. I mean,
six coaches in 48 months for the Panthers.
well, the
Six.
first question that mostly got Frank Reich fired was, did he have any intel or did he have any say on who the quarterback he wanted? Did he want Bryce Young or was that Tepper? Because if that was Tepper, and then that's on him. But if that was on Frank Reich, then I can understand why they fired him still, because C.J. Stroud has been just
Tepper had a press conference on Wednesday stating everybody was on the same page when it came to Bryce Young. Who knows how much of that is the truth, but everybody was on the same page that they wanted to draft Bryce Young. Obviously, we've seen the success of C.J. Stroud in Houston, the lack of success with Bryce Young, and more importantly, Carolina has traded their first-round pick next year to the Bears, who now have the number one pick in the draft as of today via Carolina in the event, with Caleb Williams coming out, Drake May, Michael Penix, all the quarterbacks. So it's even doubly bad. You don't have a first-round pick this year if you're the Carolina Panthers.
And on top of it, you traded one of your main weapons in DJ Moore, who
right?
well with the Bears. So it looks bad. And look, we talked about it in the draft process. There were red flags out there about Bryce Young. He was coming out of Alabama. He had
short, not very physically stout.
Yes, he's a short guy. C.J. Stroud was, it seemed like the perfect quarterback prospect. 6'3", 6'4", big arm, comes out of Ohio State, has won wherever he's been. It's an easy choice for me, but for some reason, Bryce Young to the Carolina Panthers, and here we are at 1-10.
All right, let's get to the game here. This is the must-win game. This is you don't want to say Armageddon game for the Bucks, but it really is, in my view. If you lose this game, that locker room will be demoralized. I think that'll be the. In my view, they lose this game. This will be the last game Baker Mayfield starts. I think you got to go to Kyle Trask. If you go to 4-8, you got to go to Kyle Trask and see what you got in the last 5 games of the year. Maybe he provides a spark for the offense, but this is a must-win game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Agreeing, and they got some playmakers in that secondary. You got Jeremy Chin, of course. You got J.C. Horn, who may play in this game. They're giving up 20 points per game. They're 29th, so they could definitely be scored upon. They are better against the pass than against the run, so you would feel like that Mike Evans and, of course, Chris Godwin would have a big day. And you go back to the scene of the crime last year when Evans played at Raymond James Stadium, when you have over 200 yards of receiving, 3 touchdowns.
Right.
So you like to see that type of effort again by this offense. Can this offense figure it out because it certainly seems like the running game has improved. They had over 100 yards. So
Yep.
can they do that versus Carolina? And then the other matchup I'm looking at, the young guys here, Yaya Diaby, finally the starter as
Named
he
a starter. Yep.
up, and you got Kalijah Cansey, who's played out of his mind. Can they get after a Bryce Young and make him look like a rookie quarterback? Because the Panthers giving up 43 sacks.
Pitiful offensive line. Pitiful.
A great opportunity here. And again, you can talk about the quarterback all you want to, but we all know this all too well. You got a young kid back there. You got no offensive line, and he's getting hit that much. He's starting to see ghost. And then on top of it, you put pressure on him. He'll give you some turnovers. So I think it's a prime opportunity, not only for this defensive line to step up with the young kids and Yaya Diaby and, of course, Kalijah Cansey, but this whole defensive unit to step up, call some turnovers. Let's blow this team out. Let's have a blowout, okay? Let's not even make it close. Let's just blow out, no struggles at all, get all that negativity out of the Bucs fans' systems off of social media. Let's blow this team out.
You have to stop the running game first. They're going to try to run the ball this week. Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders. You have to put the ball in Bryce Young's hands, make that offensive line have to protect. They've shown the inability to be able to do that, but you cannot let the Panthers be able to run the ball. I mean, the Colts ran the ball a little bit last week, but not – I mean, it wasn't – they didn't gash us, but they ran it enough to be able to keep Gardner Minshew and us off balance. You have to shut down this running game and put the ball in Bryce Young's hands.
There's a chance for Levante David to play in this game. I hope he can.
I don't think he plays. I think a groin injury like that's usually not a 1 week injury.
And it's on Devin White. It's on the young kid and Savasier Dennis, who played a lot better than I thought Devin White did. Just effort alone, just being all over the football. He could be a potential linebacking replacement for David or a White. And I got to see something out of White. I'm sorry. He may be dealing with some injuries or something like that. To me, it's just effort for him. He's got to show up. He's got to be the defensive leader on this team. Enough of the talk. Go out there and knock somebody out.
And the Panthers don't have receivers that are going to scare you. Adam Thielen at the end of his career, Terrence Marshall, these are just blah guys. You can't let these guys get in rhythm on offense. That's where, again, this is where Todd Bowles, whether it's heat him up, heat Bryce Young up with the pressure, Carlton Davis, you got Adam Thielen. We'll handle the other guys, but this is where Carlton Davis has got to step up and play well against Adam Thielen. This is a guy that should not be getting more than 40 or 50 yards receiving in this game. They don't have weapons. Shut down the running game. Heat up Bryce Young. This should be a 2 or 3 turnover kind of game, and you're right. Let's have a 31-7 kind of win, a comfortable win for the Buccaneers in a game that they should win, need to win, and must win.
31-10, Tampa Bay over the Carolina Panthers. They stay alive in that NFC South and win at home.
I agree. I think you're going to see a 28-31. I'm with you. 31-10 kind of game. Come out fast. You get the lead. You even minimize the running game even more for the Panthers if you can get out to a 10 or 14-0 lead. Let's get the crowd back into the. I got a bad feeling it's not going to be a great crowd on Sunday with two teams that are mediocre. I worry about the crowd attendance, but it is a 4:00 game. You'll get a little darkness here. It'll be fun to see that kind of the lights will be out, probably halftime. The lights will be on. I worry about Levante David's not going to be in the game. Hopefully Jamel Dean can play because that'll be important on the other side. But again, more opportunity here for the Bucs. The Bucs are better than the Panthers. We know that. The Panthers are in turmoil. Be aware for the Panthers. Again, special teams guy, potential fake punt, trick play. This guy's going to try to do everything he can to get a job here, Chris Tabor. So he's going to be aggressive, not be afraid to do something out of the norm. So if you're Todd Bowles, stay on your P's and Q's. Don't get caught off guard by something in the game management part of things. And in your view, any chance if the Bucs were to lose this game, the Bucs make a coaching change in season?
I've never seen it before. I've never seen the Glazers do it, but the pressure may be there. You can't lose to the Panthers at all. I don't think they make a change, but I think there would be a lot of fans, a lot of pundits in the Tampa Bay area that would be calling for it. Inexcusable to lose to a team like the Panthers. If you do that, you're basically toast in that NFC South.
What about the quarterback situation if the Bucs lose Sunday?
They lose, it's Kyle Trask time. It is. You got to see what you got. I mean, if you win on Sunday, you got a chance to win the NFC South. If you lose, I feel like you don't, and you got to see what you got in Kyle Trask.
All right, Buck fans, there you have it. We both think the Bucs are going to win comfortably. We need this win to get to 5-7, stay in the hunt, both the wild card. Because remember, Buck fans, If it's us and Minnesota tied at the end for the 7th spot, we win the tiebreaker. So if you can, you're only one game out. So if you can get, you're still in both wild card and the division race here. I know it doesn't look great record wise, but you're still in it. So games you got to win. This is the one you got to win. You got Carolina twice the last 6 weeks, which is a good thing. But you got to get this start because you go to Atlanta next week for another huge division game. You win the next 2 games, you're probably in first place. Say what you want.
That's it. And you got the Saints on New Year's Eve, and you got
Yep.
the Jacksonville Jaguars
Yep.
on Christmas Eve. So interesting matchups coming here.
All right, Buck fans, appreciate you finding us. Remember, find us on social or on your podcast platform. No Quarter Given. I'm Jason, Peter. Let's see you in the winner's circle next week. Have a great week. We'll see you at Raymond James Stadium Sunday, 4:05 kickoff. See you next time on the No Quarter Given podcast.
Well, Bucks.
Here we go.